What's up, everyone? Thomas here with ForReel. And TIFF is coming up once again. And after an incredible film festival last year with amazing movies and awesome experiences, I had to be back. So I'm really excited to talk about what we have coming up at this year's film festival. And I have gathered a couple friends in order for us to have this conversation and kind of preview what we're looking forward to at TIFF 2023. So first up, one of ForReel's own team members who will be attending TIFF for the first time this year, we have Marty Millman.
Hello, how's it going?
Very cool. Welcome, Marty. Next up, fellow Seattleite making the trek out to the six, host of his own podcast, Feelin Film, we have Aaron White.
Hey, thank you for bringing me on.
And last but not least, out of LA, and probably traveling the furthest out of all of us, film critic over at NerdBot.com, we have Derrick Murray.
Hey, everybody.
Sweet. Guys, thanks for joining me. I'm really excited to talk with you guys. We have some really interesting films to discuss today. Before we jump into that discussion, just a little bit of information. TIFF is running this year in person from September 7th to September 17th, of course, in downtown Toronto. Members of the ForReel team will include myself, of course, Marty, and Sean Peer as well, who's making content for us on social media. And we also have a guest publisher this year, Rebecca Gao. So I want to thank all of you guys in advance for the work that you will be contributing to the site during the festival. And at least I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely in the process of like trying to attain screeners and interviews and schedule out what events I'm doing. So everything's starting to come together for me, at least in the moment. Is anyone else like extra planning out too far to where everything's going to change here in a little bit?
I'm sure we all are. It's always like playing Tetris with your schedule. We were talking just a bit before we started about this and how when you attend a film festival that's this large and this condensed in time, you have to make multiple backup schedules for yourself because you just never know when you're going to be able to run from one theater to the next and actually make it or not. And all sorts of factors to think about. And it's just, it's a fun game, but it is maddening for those of us like myself who are obsessive planners and organizers. It literally drives me crazy. I'm so anxious not knowing for sure what I'm going to see that it's like, 50% anxious and 50% excitement.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think I'm on my sixth rendition of my schedule. Like from top to bottom, not just like, oh, I'm gonna change this day here or arrange this, substitute this like whole schedule top to bottom from the day I get there to the day I leave. I think I'm on like my sixth or seventh rendition of what it's supposed to look like. And I haven't even bought a single ticket yet. So it's pretty well. It's exciting. It's anxious. It's nervous because you're right. You have no idea what you're actually going to get to see. But it's fun to plan and just pretend that you're going to see everything.
Isn't it? Marty, have you been over planning as well?
I overplanned my like Sundance one, so I was like, I'm gonna like keep it chill for TIFF, I guess, but then it's probably gonna get closer to it, and I'm just gonna have like the craziest schedule.
Honestly, I think you're going about it the most sane way possible, but I support everyone's process. No, it's cool, and it's cool that we have these other festivals to kind of draw experience from and learn lessons from, I guess, because I've definitely been in the position of like overcommitting and like just trying to fit in 6 movies a day, 6 days in a row, and it is just it's tough. I don't know if people like, I'll tell people I'm going to a film festival and they're like, oh, that sounds fun and easy, and I'm like, the fun part's correct. Easy, you can very very easily get overwhelmed, I suppose. um but yeah, let's talk a little bit about TIFF. Aaron, this is your first TIFF attending, but you've obviously attended some other big festivals before. Besides films, what are you most looking forward to getting out of TIFF while you're in Toronto?
Well, I'm not a seasoned traveler, and so ever since I left the Navy in 2013, I have not really been much out of the country outside of going to Vancouver a few times. We're in Seattle, you and I, so it's
Right.
you know, it's more
Just right
like
there.
a 2-hour drive. It's not exactly like it doesn't feel like you're going out of the country when you go to Vancouver
Right.
for me. But outside of a cruise that I went on, I haven't traveled, and so this is the first real out of country experience for me. I've never been to Toronto. I'm staying with a friend who is local, who I've had a great relationship online with for years. She and her fiance are putting me up for free. It's amazing. I'm so excited to just get to hang out with them and to have some banter because she's a Blue Jays fan and I'm a Mariners fan, and we're in this like tight playoff battle, so it's going to be real weird. But yeah, I mean, I'm just looking forward to the general vibe of experiencing a new metropolitan city as opposed to experiencing like Sundance and Park City, which is a very, very different kind of locale. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to being in Canada and taking it all in, as well as the movies.
That's valid. No, I think it's going to be fun, especially when you see the layout of TIFF and like how everything's really localized and you don't have to do a whole bunch of running around like at Sundance.
I'll also
so
say, and meeting people. So I met Marty at Sundance because we were staying in the same hostel together. We didn't even know that he was part of this podcast and this site that you were part of. I knew you and didn't, and then I put two and two together. And so I'm really excited to get to meet a bunch of film critic peers that I've interacted with online. Like Derrick, I'll get to meet you. I'm just meeting you today for the first time, but we'll get to shake hands. And that's one of the best parts of this, not just for networking opportunities, but just because these are all people that share a passion that we all have. And it's awesome to be in a room with these people for like 6-7 days straight. It's something you don't get to experience in our world very often.
Absolutely. It's really nice to have these festivals as kind of the hub to do that. So on the subject of kind of meeting people, Derrick, you are participating in the Press Inclusion Initiative at TIFF, which is a program that I actually went through a couple years ago and is incredible. I absolutely recommend it for for the people that it's targeting to amplify minority voices. It's a wonderful program. I really enjoyed being a part of it. Why don't you talk a little bit about the program and what you're hoping to get out of it?
Yeah, so this will actually be my first in-person festival. So I've done Sundance and I've done South by Southwest, but both times I've done it has all been virtual. I haven't actually been able to go. So this will be my first time actually traveling to a festival. And, I have to give credit to you because, you and I have talked online and we've never met in person. So I'm super excited to be able to do that. But no, I mean, you actually recommended it and I got in and I was so excited because I'm looking at the program things and the scheduling that they've set aside to just meet with like-minded people and meet with people with different voices from different backgrounds and all the things that they're going to bring to the festival. Being able to just meet with mentors and, Rotten Tomatoes and NBC and like all these just different facets of the industry that I haven't had the pleasure of being able to be a part of. And I'm so excited. I know it cuts into some of my early morning scheduling that I was trying to do. But it's a whole different experience for me. And my goal is to just embrace everything that TIFF has to offer, including, the things that the media inclusion has, where you do get to meet with mentors and other like-minded press individuals and film critics and things like that, as well as being able to just have access to just a ton of films, meet different people and finally meet them in person. Things just don't translate right online. So being able to just really embrace that and be with so many like-minded people. I always joke with, friends and family that like, nobody watches movies like I do. Like I watch movies differently than everybody. And so being able to just be in this whole just universe, literally like a whole city of people that like watch movies the way that I do. I'm so excited to just kind of experience that. So
I'm really excited for you. It's going to be a great time for sure. Marty, you have been attending film festivals and just doing amazing coverage over the last year and a half. In fact, I have to mention this, your interview with Jenna Ortega when you were at the St. Louis International Film Festival. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Savannah Film Festival. When you were there, that video has topped 300,000 views. It is the #1 viewed video on our page, and it is just so cool to see. I mean, it's a great interview. It was a fun conversation. Jenna will also, or at least she has a film at TIFF, and so it'd be kind of cool to get another conversation in with her. But anyway, you know, with that background that you have with interviewing and how well those videos perform on our page, I was curious if you could interview anyone at TIFF, who would you choose to interview?
Um, there's
Assuming
a
they
few
show up.
people. Well,
right.
that's completely dependent on like one, how the strike situation goes.
Right.
Hopefully things will be settled soon with that. I'm just hoping everyone gets their fair deal.
Mhm.
But my like top two people that are like supposedly coming would be Olivia Colman or like Mads Mikkelsen.
Wow.
Because like I don't know, I really admire both their works, and I almost shit myself honestly while like interviewing Jenna. So I think like just seeing someone even like that, like if I can interview them, then it's like boom, I'm golden.
Mhm. No, you did a great job, and I'm sure whoever you get to talk to this year at TIFF will also be great interviews. You just do such a good job with that. So cool. All right, guys. We're gonna talk about movies really quick. I want to do a couple special mentions. The first one I want a special mention that's playing at TIFF is the film Fair Play. I'm not sure if all of us were able to see it at Sundance. But Marty has a fantastic review about the film on online right now. So if that is on your radar, you can check out his review at
I loved
thisisforreal.com.
it so much. I made sure in my like current schedule that I can go see it again because like yes, Netflix bought it. Yes, it's going to be out in November, but like it's one that is like you need to see it on the screen if you have the opportunity to. It's very intense. You want to be like stuck in that. You don't want to just be able to like turn it on, chill and talk with people while you're watching it, or like just scroll through socials, or like when you're done just do whatever. Like you need to like sit with it. Like it's so like tense and really smart and really well done. Like I really admired that. It's still in my top 5 for the year.
There we go. Wow. High praises for that film. So playing at TIFF, like I said, Marty's review is at thisisforreal.com. The other really quick shout out that I want to give is to the Madness program at TIFF. I did an interview with the programmer for Midnight Madness. His name is Peter Kuplowski. I mean, even before I got the interview, I looked at that lineup of 10 films for Midnight Madness, and I was like, I kind of want to be there every midnight. Like all of those films look incredible. So you can obviously take a look at that lineup at tiff.net. But I will have my interview with Peter published before this video publishes. So you'll be able to go to thisreal.com and check that out.
I'll tell you, Tom, when you sent out the schedule for this podcast,
Yeah.
I almost put all 3 Midnight Madness movies that I want to see as my top one. Like I am banking on just not sleeping at all at this TIFF because that lineup, like I'm just reading all of the films that are there, and I'm just like, these are movies I love. Like I don't know anything about them other than the taglines and the brief synopsis, but I'm just like, we get 3 martial arts movies back to back to back. Are you kidding me? Like sign me up. Like let's go.
I'm so excited for it. So I'm hoping I can watch as many of those as possible. But they all sound great, and I definitely encourage anyone who maybe has not considered Midnight Madness as part of like their schedule to really think about it. And my conversation with Peter helps illustrate the fact that Midnight Madness isn't all just like horror films. There's a lot of different genre play going on with the Midnight Madness program. So definitely check it out.
And build a nap into your schedule. Listen, I'm telling you, from Sundance, I had midnight movies planned, and but I died by the time after 4 or 5 movies before them and getting dinner, it was like, I'm out. I can't make it. So you really do. I mean, maybe this is just old people like me, but if you're starting to age up there and you're going to this for the first time, then you really gotta think hard about prepping yourself to be ready for that. This is if you don't go to midnight movies normally, like in your life, because it can be a real killer on your like normal, especially if you're moving like time zones. Like,
oh yeah, that's
like
a valid
most of us
point.
are going all the way across the country. So
Yeah.
Yeah, my Midnight Madness doesn't start until like 3 a.m. most
Exactly.
days. So I'm getting overly ambitious for pushing 40. Like I'm really pushing the limits of what I can do, but I want it. I want it all. I want the experience.
I love the ambition. And you know what? I might take this video and just like compile all the tips that we have to give, because really, I mean, we've done enough festivals to like have some interesting feedback for people. So thank you for that note, Aaron. I absolutely also agree. Like, build naps into the schedule. You're not too old for a nap. Okay. All right, let's talk about films. We're gonna start with Marty. So we all picked 3 films that we are most anticipating or excited about, which for all of us was very difficult, very difficult to do. It's a very stacked lineup of films this year, and I think one thing that I want to note really quickly is that TIFF is usually really good at putting out a lot of the studio films. I know last year I got to see Glass Onion. Woman King played last year, and so that's something that is pretty normal at TIFF, but this year seems a little different. A lot of the studio, like I know we were expecting things like Dune 2, maybe even The Color Purple to premiere here, but that is not the case. However, I want to thoroughly express that the movies that they do have still seem amazing. So even though we don't have those big studio titles for fall films, I think that there is still a really, really great lineup. So Marty, we're going to start with you. Let's go with your number 3 selection, or I guess I listed it weird. In the first row, whatever you listed first. Let's go with the one that you put first on your list.
Yeah, so, well, also to piggyback off what you were saying about not having the big studio films, I'm kind of happy about it, because it's like those I know I'm going to go see at the end of the year. Like, they're going to be in theaters, they're going to be out, they're going to be everywhere. Lots of films at this festival, I don't know when they're going to get released or when they would be available, if I'm going to be able to even see it in theaters. So like, I'm really thankful that I've got a lot of films, especially foreign films, just readily available that I can just go walk to at like 4 p.m. on a Tuesday and go see. So like, that's just wonderful. But so
Yeah,
one of the
no,
ones
good point.
one of the ones I'm really excited to see is CHIMERA.
Mhm.
So it's about a group of archaeologists and somehow get involved in like the black market with some historical artifacts. I heard a few things on Twitter, but like I'm trying to like keep my knowledge on like every film that I'm going into like pretty blind.
Yeah.
Like the films that I usually end up having like the highest expectations for at film festivals, like I don't want to feel let down. Like film festivals is the time to just go in like completely blind and know nothing. So like other than just being like, oh, it's directed by this person or written by this person or like these actors in it, like Isabella Rossellini is going to be in La Chimia, and what's his name, Josh O'Connor, and he's going to be in that. He was originally supposed to be in what is it, Challengers, that was going to come out next month, but I guess they pushed that to the spring. But it's a great cast, seems like good writers. I don't know, it's just I like stuff that seems like it could be dark, maybe a little comedic. I think all 3 of my films are kind of in that like mystery comedy territory.
I love it. So I kind of scrolled through this one when I was picking it out, but the thing that stands out for me is Joss O'Connor. So it's directed by Alice Rohrwacher, I think is how you pronounce it. The film is a part of the special presentations program, and yeah, Joss O'Connor was the one that it was the name that stood out to me in this, especially with Challengers being something that he was also supposed to be or is in but got delayed. But when I see him in a film, it's something that stands out and that I pay attention to. And so any other thoughts about I'm not great at this, but La Crimea, I think. Crimea, something like that. Is this on anyone else's radar?
I'll tell you it's on mine. And I do, I think I've been very cautious to avoid any trailers that have come out for any of the movies that I want to see that are going to premiere at TIFF. Because I agree, Marty, I think the best part about going into this, and I've done this even virtually with Sundance and South by Southwest, where I don't know anything about the films that I'm clicking on or the films that I'm going to watch. And some of my favorite films of the year, just this year, have been movies where title, actor, and director only have been the reason I've clicked on the film to watch it. And to me, that's the best way to just experience cinema, where you have no idea what you're going to experience, but you know it's going to be something. And then I agree that the international pull for TIFF this year is just magnificent. These films that you just otherwise would not be able to experience, otherwise not be able to see unless you scoured the internet to try to find something. The ability to see those in such close proximity is so exciting for me. So this is one I'm trying to figure out how to fit into my schedule. I haven't quite done it yet, but it is on my watch list. Absolutely.
It's on mine now. I didn't know about it. And just it's La Chimera. Chimera.
There you go. There you go. That sounds right. Thank you.
Listen, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons guy, so like it's a fire-breathing beast is what a chimera is.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, ghosts and tomb raiding and ancient treasures and artifacts. I had no idea this existed, Marty. So see, we're one film in, and I'm like here making my schedule harder, especially because this is only playing one day that I'm there, because it's got a couple screenings on a Tuesday, and I'll be gone that day. So yeah, I'm gonna try and fit this in, or try to find a screener or something. But this sounds great.
Would be great, right? So I did. I have the times listed here. It's playing Tuesday, September 12th at noon, and Thursday, September 14th for the public. Press screening Thursday, September 7th at 2:45. These movies with 3 showtimes make me very nervous.
Killing me. Like,
let us see your movies.
That's the thing. It's like there's so many movies and like this much schedule time. So it's like you've got certain movies that have got like 5 to 6 screenings, and then like very highly anticipated films or like popular films that people are like dying to see. It's like 2, 3 screenings. So I'm like, oh, wonderful. Like, just gonna have people like fighting in line, like punching each other out for seats.
This is a great segue into one of Aaron's selections. Aaron, what do you have on your list of movies to watch?
So my number one is The Boy and the Heron. I mean, I am a humongous animation fan, specifically animation styles. And Hayao Miyazaki, legendary Japanese animation director, he retired in September of 2013 after doing what we thought was his final film, The Wind Rises, that same year, but he's back. And this is going to be the North American premiere of the film. It's got a new title for anybody who may have been tracking this. It used to be called How Do You Live when it debuted in Japan, but this is the Western title because they don't think we can handle it or something. I don't know. The story is inspired by a novel from 1937 actually called How Do You Live? And it's going to be injected with some fantasy elements that Miyazaki typically brings to the table that make it's a pretty realistic novel, but it's going to be, a little bit more surreal because of his style. And it is, all I know is the plot synopsis, which is that a boy and he encounters his friends and uncle and goes through some sort of like psychological development in a magical world with a talking gray hair. Like, I don't need any more. It's Miyazaki. Like, you got me. I'm sure it's going to be moving and beautiful and exciting and adventurous and entertaining. The animation is going to be just phenomenal. I have no doubt. And I just can't wait to see his new final film. And I'm crossing my fingers that he is in attendance and that I can be there for the gala screening of this. It's my one like white whale get. I'm trying so hard to get there into that first showing of this in case he is present. But I hope that this can be another bona fide masterpiece for someone who has many of them and he can go out just with an absolute bang.
Yeah, so I did that big lead up, and sorry, I was looking at the wrong lineup. Derrick, you're the one that has the movies with the fewest showtimes, but we'll get to those in a second. But Boy and the Heron is a good one to talk about, because I think that everything you're saying is exactly why everyone wants to see this. And the idea of Miyazaki being there for this premiere, I don't know if it's going to happen. I've heard that he's not very interested in like trying to go out of his way to promote his films. They are what they are, and we love them. But so I've heard from friends that he might not be there for this, but I'm really hoping that he is, and I'm hoping that you guys have that experience. Like last year, you know, I was able to be at the premiere of The Fablemans with Steven Spielberg there, and it's just such an incredible experience. Obviously, the movie is already awesome, the experience is already awesome, but then to have, you know, this legendary filmmaker there to talk about the movie, I think that that would be an incredible experience to impart on whoever can manage to get tickets to that screening. So, best of luck to you, Aaron. Who else is going to be fighting for tickets for The Boy and the Heron opening night?
Yeah, so I don't know that I'm actually going to be able even be able to make it for opening night. I think it falls. I think scheduling wise on that day one, I think it actually conflicts with some of the media inclusion stuff that I have to do. So I actually have it planned for the next day, early morning. My goal is to be there at, I don't know, however early I need to be there, and however much coffee I need to get out of bed at like 5 a.m. to meet an 8 a.m. screening. But this is super high on my list, and full confession, I'm actually not really that big of an anime fan or Miyazaki fan. But this is something where I know that the experience will trump anything that I've already experienced or any preconceived notions I have about the genre or the director or anything like that. And so it's something that is super high on my list. It's a must see for me, whether I suck it up and get up at 5 a.m. and get in line 3 hours early on that Tuesday morning, or I managed to fight for tickets and score that gala event. Like I need to see this movie. So
It would be. I'm interested. Yeah, if Miyazaki is there, this will be like the most. I'm sure one of the most in demand screenings of the festival. So, for sure, Marty, what are your thoughts on Boy and the Heron?
It's definitely on my radar. I think the only film I've seen by him, he did The House of Moving Castle, correct? Or
how's Moving Castle?
yes. That's the only film of his I've seen so far, which I really enjoyed, but anime is not something I like go out of my way for. Like I have friends who really like it, so it's like they put it on, I'm watching, I'm down. So it's kind of a thing where I'm just like, if I've got time in my schedule and I've got some friends who are like going to go see it, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Like, I think it would, the visuals are probably going to be terrific. The story is probably going to be terrific. It's just, it's on my radar. It's just not at the tippity tip top for me.
That is fair. No problem. I mean, I'm sure there'll be enough demand for that movie that it would be okay if you have other things to watch, right? So this is one that has a decent amount of screenings. It looks like for the public. There's Thursday, of course, the opening night. There's two screenings that night. Saturday, September 9th at 10:30. Sunday, September 10th at a little bit after noon. Friday, September 15th at 8:55 a.m. if you're at the festival later. And then there's one press screening Friday, September 8th at 9 a.m. So a little more options to choose from there. I'm sure if Miyazaki attends, he won't be at all of those screenings, so that makes that opening night a little more valuable. But still, if you want to see it, there are some options. All right, Derrick, let's get to yours. The ones that have very limited screenings. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Whichever one. I'm ambitious as hell, guys. I'm trying to go for gold at this tip. No, we can start with the number one, just on the list. So Anatomy of the Fall. Anatomy of a Fall. That one I've heard just amazing things out of Cannes. And I'm a sucker for a good courtroom drama. I just absolutely love it, paired with like a murder mystery. Like I've heard Sandra Hüller is just phenomenal. And so everything that I've heard about this movie just makes me want to see it as fast as possible. So I have it planned for like the first movie of TIFF, because I'll actually come in a day before the festival starts. And so my goal is to get in, get my credentials, and then sleep as early as I can to be up as early as I possibly can, and get there as early as I need to for the screening, because I absolutely do not want to miss this one. This one just seems to have all the makings of movies that I just absolutely adore. Genre, style, everything. And so I can't wait to see this movie. I'm gonna fight for tickets just to make sure that like I can secure something. But if that fails, like I don't care how early I need to be in line, I'm gonna see this movie. So
you guys are so fortunate. I will not be in Toronto yet for the press screening, so I literally have one shot at seeing this movie. It is giving me all kinds of anxiety and nightmares. Just really quick, it's playing publicly Thursday, September 7th at 5 p.m. And Friday, September 8th at 4 p.m., which is the screening I can go to, and that's it. There is a press screening on that Thursday. It's at 8:35 a.m. Who else has Anatomy of a Fall on their must-see
top
list?
of my list.
I mean, we probably all do. Yeah.
I
Only one
don't
of us
know
get
much, but like I saw the poster, the trailer came out, and I like scrolled so fast.
Yeah, same. I was like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Don't tell me anything. I don't want to know.
I haven't watched it either.
Someone needs to tell these marketers. I know you're trying to market your movie, but can you drop the trailer after the festival? Like, right. Do us press people a favor and drop the trailer after the festival, okay?
Yep.
Yes, this is it's interesting. I don't know a whole lot about it, honestly, Derek. The synopsis you gave there is literally the most I have figured out what this movie is even about. I just am kind of a sucker for movies that everybody else wants to see, and this one has been one that has so much buzz around it and so much hype around it, and I also like courtroom dramas. I also like murder mysteries, and so this is sounding like something that will be up my alley, on top of being one of the most high demand films of the festival. So all right, I am going to I'm gonna shout out Daddy-O for one of my titles. This is a film by Christy Hall, and I'm pretty sure it's a directorial debut. The synopsis just says Dakota Johnson and Sean Penn sold. What else do I need to say? I'll finish it. Dakota Johnson and Sean Penn display their magnetism and acting range over the course of a cab ride through New York City, full of conversation and power shifts. There's just so much about this, and this is one that like I glossed over when the lineup was first announced. But then I started, actually planning my schedule and being like, oh, there's a gap here. What can I put there? What's this Daddy-O film? Dakota Johnson. Okay, well, that's got to be added. Sean Penn, yes, I'm down. Directorial debut, I'm attracted to those. One location films that hinge on conversation between two people, I am always down for that. There's just so much about this that is so in line with what I like, especially at a film festival. This is very, very, very quickly became a priority of mine, and so I expect to have this slotted in my schedule. Has anyone else looked into Daddy-O or have it on their radar?
I didn't even realize Dakota Johnson was doing a film. Now I'm like adding to the list. I haven't made my schedule yet.
Right.
It's on my short list. I'm trying to make it, and it's for the very reason that you just said. When I saw Dakota Johnson, I didn't know what it was about. I didn't care what it was about. It's a weird title.
It is
for what it supposedly is about.
Right.
Maybe that it'll probably make sense once we see it, I'm sure. But just like from a glancing down the list of titles standpoint, that is nowhere close to what my mind took me to when I thought about what this movie might be, was two people riding in a cab together. So I'm just totally intrigued by it and gonna try to make that one for sure.
I think that because of the title, is also why I scrolled past it when the schedule was announced. But it's kind of, and I know Dakota Johnson doesn't have anything to do with this, but it's also like Cha Cha Real Smooth, right? Like, what is that? What are we doing here, guys? And then you watch it, it's like, okay. Yeah, the song came up. I guess that validates it.
Yeah, I actually this was not on my radar at all until you and I talked and you had put it on your list. And then I went and looked and I did the same thing. I was like, oh, Dakota Johnson. Well, this has to be in the top 10, no matter what. I mean, she has just been on an absolute tear. Last year she had 3 films back to back to back. One of them hasn't even come out, and she's phenomenal. I really love Cha Cha Real Smooth, and then over time I found that I didn't really care for it as much, but like she is just she's on fire. And if her name is in the movie, I'm on. Let's go. Like, I'm gonna find a way to fit this into my schedule. So I'm actually very excited for this one. And I've additionally, ever since COVID, I've grown very fond of kind of single location, limited cast. Very, I know people like to like downgrade talkie films, but I've really grown. Some of my favorite films last year are films like that are just 2 or 3 people. You don't see anybody else. It's all just generated from these conversations and learning about people through how they interact with others. And I'm completely sold on something like that. So title be damned. This is a really good pick.
Yes. Thank you. I'm glad that you all are interested. I mean, Dakota, if she shows up, Marty, I'm putting you on that assignment.
Well, didn't you get like a brush past her?
I did.
I don't want to talk about
you
it.
were like,
I want to talk about it.
Very briefly. I had a very brief brush, and her bouncer got real mad at me for that. But I have the video. I have the video. He does not
So
know about my
jealous.
existence, but I know about hers. That's funny. This is also one with very limited screenings. Public screening on Sunday, September 10th at 3 p.m. Thursday, September 14th at 4 p.m. and for the press, Monday, September 11th at 8 to 10 p.m. So, Marty, we're coming back to you. What's another one on your list?
Another one. This one caught me. Title alone: How to Have Sex. I know
Yes.
it premiered at
Yes.
a festival earlier in the year. I can't remember which one, but I heard like some buzz, I don't know. The few people I heard from was very middle of the road, so I like read a couple sentences of their reviews, but that was about it. I kind of was just like, okay, how to have sex. Girls are going on a like summer holiday vacation, and it's partying and clubbing, and things get a little crazy, and it's supposed to have some great visuals and a lot of neon, and I'm just like, oh, it's speaking to me. So that one I was like, yep, top of the list.
Yeah.
I think it's funny, Tiff. Last year it was how to blow up a pipeline. This year it's how to have sex. I feel like Tiff has to have a how-to movie.
I feel like those things go together pretty well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's on my short list as well. And it was at Cannes. It was another
Yeah.
Cannes
Oh,
debut,
interesting.
actually, surprisingly. Yeah, I only know a couple people who have seen it, but both of them thought pretty highly of it. And
Yeah.
it just looks like kind of a crazy whirlwind type of experience, but elevated from what, like an old school high school movie.
Yeah, Marty, I almost actually put this one in my top 3. And the only reason I didn't was because you got to it first. Because otherwise it would have been in my top 3.
I literally had to change my top 3 because I was like, oh, I'm gonna put Anatomy of Fall. Oh,
Right.
I was just like, zone of interest taken. Like, I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, this one is very high on my list. I've heard great things from the handful of people that I know have seen it at Cannes. And just everything you just said, just the whole subject matter, the neon, the visuals, sign me up. Like, this is 100% the type of movie I want to watch.
That's so awesome. It's directed by Molly Manning Walker. It's in the Discovery program, and this is another one with very limited showtimes. Public screenings are Friday, September 8th at 7:15 p.m., Friday, September 15th at 8:45 p.m., and the press get one screening on September 7th at 9 p.m. during The Boy and the Heron. So
Or kill if you're trying to see that.
Or kill, right? That's true. All right. Aaron, let's go with you. What's your next one?
Well, I have one celebrity crush that has stayed with me for decades now and is my biggest celebrity crush, and that is Anna Kendrick. And she happens to be at TIFF debuting her directorial debut. It's called Woman of the Hour, and it's the world premiere of it as well. So I didn't even need to know what it was about. That being said, I will give a brief synopsis. It is based on the real life story of a serial killer who appeared on a show called The Dating Game back in 1978.
Yes.
Yeah, and he
Richard Ancala. Yep,
that's him. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a serial killer aficionado, so this is speaking to me.
No, he's he won a date with this woman named Cheryl Bradshaw, and that's who Anna Kendrick is going to play. And at the time, he was actually in the middle of his serial killing run. He had already murdered several women, and he ended up getting nicknamed the dating game killer. I'm just super excited to see what she does behind the camera, for one thing. But I also love that this is going to be a more dramatic role for her. And it's coming on the heels of a movie that she just did called Alice Darling, which I think is her best dramatic performance that she's ever had. And it's kind of interesting that she's going from like
that was also a TIFF debut, I think.
Oh, was it?
I'm pretty sure
Oh,
that
go
debuted
figure.
at TIFF last year. Yeah.
Okay, so maybe she just likes TIFF. Yeah, they like
TIFF,
her.
yep.
But like in Alice Darling, she was the victim of an emotionally abusive relationship, and now she's going to like a potentially violent, murderous type of relationship. And it's just an interesting tangent there. And I have no doubt that she's going to tackle it with a really smart and nuanced view. And I'm just, super duper excited. And of course, the prospect of potential, I'll say, just like with Miyazaki, for me, the prospect of having her in attendance, it shoots through the roof for me. As for my excitement level, I've gone and seen her in person one time at a small location in Seattle when she was here to sign her for her book tour. And that was really cool, just getting to hear her speak. And I would love to have that experience again.
That's awesome.
Marty, I'm going to tell you right now, you have absolutely, you have absolutely shattered my schedule now, because I have overlooked this movie completely. I did not know that it was Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick directing, starring Anna Kendrick, and it's about a serial killer. Bro, the top 5, like it's done. It's done. I have to go do my 7th rendition now. You've absolutely shattered everything for me. I'm gonna find this film. I'm gonna find a way to make this work.
Marty, how are you feeling about Woman of the Hour?
Oh, it's on my list. At first, when I saw, I was like, oh, she's doing a directorial debut. I was like, interesting, because I really like her comedic roles. I did see Alice Darling, and I really liked that as well. One of my like favorite films of all time is like the Gone Girl spoof, like A Simple Favor. Like,
So good.
It's so good.
So good.
If I just need like a good laugh, like that just gets turned on. But the second I saw like the subject matter, I was just like, oh, this is going to be interesting. Like, okay. So it feels different. It feels unexpected from her. So like that definitely put it on my radar. I've already got like one of my press screenings, or the press screening time for that, like set off, being like, that's gotta take
what it's gonna be. You know, it's interesting. I get Sundance vibes from this. Like, I feel like this is one, if it had been done a little bit earlier or a little bit later, it would have gone to Sundance. And so that I get that kind of feel, that vibe from it. And Aaron, very similarly to you, Anna Kendrick is someone who I really like to pay attention to in film, and whatever she does or whatever she's attached to, I'm paying attention to, as I feel like a lot of us are. So that's this is certainly very high on my radar. It's like you mentioned, it's the world premiere. A few screenings here. Public it'll be playing Friday, September 8th at 3 p.m. I'm pretty sure that's the world premiere screening. And then Saturday, September 9th at 9 p.m. Press will get 2 chances to see it in press screenings: Saturday, September 9th at 11:45, and Wednesday, September 13th at 8:30 a.m. So, all right, good choice. Derrick, what's the other very high demand film that you have on
I know. I went for the jugular on this one, guys. So my next one is Zone of Interest. This one is just, I'm a huge A24 fan. I just think they make so many smart choices, and they just, that studio just speaks so much to just the, I don't even want to say indie, but like they when you think of cinema, I just relate that to A24, because they just take such huge risks, they take big swings, and everything I've heard about the Zone of Interest, I'm just like, I need to understand how this is done. Like, I need to understand how you create something like this. And I've heard it's very quiet, it's very patient, it's very fly on the wall type cinema. But this subject matter, it just speaks so much to, like, I'm just so intrigued by it. So just to give a brief synopsis, it's basically about a family that lives and works near a concentration camp. And that's it. Like, that's the film. It's just a fly in the wall about this experience of this family, and tragedy and one of the most horrific atrocities in human history is being experienced like next door, and they just go about their lives. And that to me is just, I'm so fascinated about the human condition in that way, and how people just go on about their lives when atrocity is happening all around them, and they're either a part of it or next to it or experiencing it and just ambivalent to it or complacent about it. And so I can't wait to see this movie. And I have a very risky proposition to try to see Anatomy of the Fall and Zone of Interest in the same day, back to back, with like, I don't know, 30 minutes in between press screenings.
I'll be running with you. I will be.
All right, let's do it, Marty.
Let's
do
get
it.
let's get our numbers.
Arriving in Toronto like maybe a couple hours before Anatomy of a Fall and just like rushing into it. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah. So somebody save my place. Like,
Yeah,
let's go.
seriously.
Yeah.
I have
Exactly.
I have my fingers crossed for you guys. I believe in you. It is interesting for anyone who has analyzed the schedule as much as we have. You and you're part of press, you know that Anatomy of a Fall is playing the first morning of TIFF, and then right after that, with a 30-minute intermission, is Zone of Interest. And so everyone who's trying to do that double feature, I wish you the best of luck. And I'm sure it's going to be a really great experience. This is like I was mentioning, this is another one with very limited screenings. It's directed by Jonathan Glazers in the Special Presentations program, and it's playing Sunday, September 10th at 8:30, and then Monday September 11th at 8:34. Did I type that right? I don't know, but Monday, September 13th,
This is
September 11th.
the guy who made Under the Skin and Sexy Beast.
Yes.
Yes.
That is
I
what
was
has
like,
my attention.
Yes.
What?
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That's what has my attention. And Derek, I think you're talking about A24, and honestly, is it just me, or is A24 pretty much like holding up film festivals this year? Because Sundance,
Neon as well.
Yeah.
Neon as well. I think
Yeah,
they're
Neon too,
like
yep.
starting to like really take their place, like or
Yeah.
not take their place, but like they're definitely sticking themselves up there with the same kind of distribution that A24 has.
Yeah.
I would say those two studios have propped up probably most of my favorite films in the last 2 or 3 years.
Mhm.
I just their selections, and I don't know, to me their risks just pay off tremendously. And they are, you're right, Tom, they just hold down festivals and just they take the risk and they let them go, and they buy very complex films and then distribute them beautifully. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, any other notes about Zone of Interest?
Can't wait.
Lots of interest.
If it's not
top 5 or whatever, yeah, it's up there.
I feel like it's like got to be at the top of like almost anybody and everybody's list. If it's not, then they got to rethink.
Then you got to rethink.
Yeah. What are you doing at TIFF?
Why are you even going to TIFF?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's funny. I am going to shout out the film Kill, part of the Midnight Madness program, because I had to mention the Midnight Madness program film. There's just too many good ones that I'm looking forward to. But let me just read the synopsis really quickly. In Nikhil Nagesh Bhatt's relentless martial arts thriller, a passenger train bound for New Delhi becomes a bloody battleground of brutal close quarters combat as a pair of commandos square off against a 40-strong army of invading bandits. Like, this is another one where there is no component of this movie I am not interested in. You know, I think that when I read the synopsis and when I looked into the movie, you have the train, right? Movies on a train. I don't know what it is about it. I like Snowpiercer, Bullet Train, Train to Busan, like trains. I'm about them, right? You just put this really dramatic situation in a train. That appeals to me. Last year we had RRR come out, which really helped shine a light on how great films can be from East India. Or from India, I guess, and then it is super violent, apparently, which just reminds me about Sisu that TIFF debuted last year, which I thought was a really fun experience. So you combine all of those aspects into a film, and then put in the Midnight Madness program. Heck yeah, I'm down. I'm all for it. So, is this on anyone else's radar?
It is now. Thanks.
Me too. I'm a big train movie person. Like I how old was I? I like snuck in to see Snowpiercer in
Yeah.
theaters, and like I was like the theater I was going at was like starting to like crack down on like under 18 people going to see R-rated movies, and I was literally like sneaking my way in there. So I'm like, I'm all about a good train movie.
Yeah, it looks or sounds fantastic just for that
Mhm.
premise. There's another one I had kind of skimmed over. Had another movie with kill in the title, a midnight movie that's on my list, but now I guess I got two.
There you go. It's interesting because the way that I'm trying to program it is I think that I can do Kill as a double feature with Naga, which is another Midnight Madness film that I
That
know
one's about
very
snakes.
yeah.
Nope.
I know very little about it, but in talking with Peter, I'm pretty sure we were talking about how like the first opening of that movie is just insane, is like all he would say. And so like if I can get two crazy movies back to back, that would be quite the experience for me. Uh hey Derek, did you have anything to say about Kill?
Yeah, so sorry, guys. I think my computer either died or shut out. We're experiencing a tropical storm
It is all good.
hurricane right now, so I'm not sure how electronics are working.
That's fair.
But I am. This is one of those movies that is 100% at the top of my list. I'm with you, Thomas. The synopsis that you gave, where it's just like, oh yeah, violence on a train. Let's go. Please sign me up. I am all about this. This is one where, and it's funny because it competes with How to Have Sex for like the press screening on day one. And so I've been going back and forth on how I'm going to build that and whether or not I want to do 5 midnight screenings or 4. So we'll see.
It is gonna be tough. This one has a few screenings. Public screening is Friday, September 8th, of course, at midnight. Is the world premiere of that one. Saturday, September 9th at 9:10. Press get 2 opportunities to see it. There's Thursday, September 7th at 9 p.m. before the world premiere. And then Wednesday, September 13th at 6:20 p.m. So, all right. We all have one more. Marty, what is one more that you are looking forward to at TIFF?
So another one I've got, I think this one's title's pretty silly. When I first read this title, I was like, I don't know. And then I saw the cast and was like, oh, hands down, gotta watch it. It's Wicked Little Letters. So I saw that it's got Olivia Colman and Jessie Buckley. And I loved both of them in The Lost Daughter. Like, I thought they were phenomenal, but because they were playing different versions of this character in time, we didn't get to see them really interact with each other. This we're going to see both of them as leads together in constant scenes with each other. I'm very excited to see how they play off of each other. The story, I don't know. We'll see what happens with this one, but like it's 1920s. It's I mystery. I don't know if there's like any murder involved. I know there's supposed to be these obviously wicked little letters, but there's supposed to be some comedic elements thrown in there as well. So I'm just interested to see where this one goes because cast has sold me, but everything else I'm on the fence as of right now.
Cass got me on this one too. Olivia Colman, you know, anytime she's attached to a project, I'm paying attention. Like last year was what was the theater one called? Why am I spacing on the name? It was about the movie theater.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Light.
I guess it was a
Empire,
little forgettable, but
Empire. I know Empire of Light. I
yeah.
remember. I actually was at that was a TIFF. That was at TIFF as well last year, and I remember watching that and just being like, oh, the movie. Olivia Colman, yes, right,
Phenomenal. Yeah.
phenomenal, right? So Olivia Colman, she has my attention. Jessie Buckley is in another movie that we're going to talk about a little bit later as well, and anything she's attached to, I am also paying attention to. So yeah, I think you make a good point. The story, we'll see what happens with that, right? But at the very least, we're going to get great performances. And I don't know, you put those two together, are we talking some Oscar potential here? I don't know, like it's possible.
The
Um,
last time they got put together, there was an Oscar win. So
yeah. So this is directed by oh, how do you pronounce her first name? Thea Sharrock. And yeah, who else has little wicked little letters on their radar?
Yeah, this is one I'm trying to fit in, mainly because of those two names. if you put Jessie Buckley in a movie, I'm pretty much on board. Like, I love everything she does. She is so compelling. She is just such an incredible performer. And then you pair her with Olivia Colman again, like, come on. Like, even if the movie sucks, they're going to be great. Like, there's just no way they're not going to deliver their A game, because they never do anything less. So it's not at the top of my list, but it's a movie I'm trying to figure out how to accommodate with some of the other ones that I know I want to see. But I agree, Marty. I think there might be some Oscar buzz coming out of this, because it's hard to put those two in a movie and not give them credit for their performances, no matter what. So,
yeah, Aaron, what do you think?
Because of The Lost Daughter, I have way less interest in this.
Oh,
doesn't fair. Make my cut, but I will be looking forward to you guys who do see it and find out, if I missed something, and I'll catch up with it after that.
That's all good. What do you have next, Aaron?
So my next one is very different. This is a true blockbuster at TIFF. This is Concrete Utopia, is what it's called. And outside of Japanese animation, for me, when it comes to international film, I gravitate the most towards South Korean cinema. And I think that their genre films and their dramas, there are so many incredible storytellers in that nation. And this time we're getting a true disaster epic from director Tai-hwa about an earthquake that renders much of Seoul a smoldering ruin. And then, as you'd expect, the survivors have to try and restore order and resort to tribalism and recover from this event. And it's much harder than just dealing with the crack in the ground. So there will definitely be a social critique element to it, as most of the South Korean films have, which I absolutely love. And you're mixing that with just a crazy blockbuster spectacle of an earthquake movie. And so I think this could be just absolutely bombastic. It's another North American premiere, and it's one that I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with, and is a nice change of pace for pretty much everything else that's on my schedule.
Yeah, I found it interesting that this is in the gala presentations rather than just the special presentations. So that's that had my interest, and yeah, I do think that blockbuster nature to it is something that's appealing. But I think South Korean film, I don't know what they put in the water in South Korea, but there's something, because when South Korea has a film come out, I'm like, tell me more. I am so interested in South Korean cinema for sure. Who else has Concrete Utopia on their radar?
So I'm gonna petition Marty and Aaron here, because I know I've already asked Thomas. But guys, what do you think? Dumb Money or Concrete Utopia? If I had to pick one, because they're both premiering literally at the same time in a morning that I have a schedule, so which one should I choose?
Concrete Utopia, because Dumb Money is going to be in theaters in like what, a month or so?
2 weeks. It's like 2 weeks after TIFF. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks.
Perfect.
It's in September. Yeah, I definitely say go with Concrete Utopia. And there's also like 2 really good docs. I've already covered 2 really good docs on the same thing that Dumb Money is about. So there's plenty of opportunities to see that story already. I would go with this one.
There you
Thomas,
go.
do you want to defend yourself?
No, I don't. They're changing my mind. I originally said Dumb Money because I think that with Dumb Money, I think that's kind of a surefire, like I don't know, I get like Air kind of vibes from it, like something that'll just
it'll be good,
fun and interesting to watch. And I guess it's listening to you talk about Concrete Utopia, because it's on my radar, it's on my list. I have a slot that I want to see it. But hearing your enthusiasm is like, yeah, maybe you should go with Concrete Utopia.
Well, and here's the thing, Concrete Utopia.
All right, eighth rendition of the schedule. Let's eighth rendition. Concrete Utopia is taking the spot.
Well, we don't get these in theaters though very often. I mean, it's so rare. Right. And if they come, it's for like a week, a special presentation. This stuff often gets like thrown on Netflix. And like, come on, like we have an opportunity to see it on a big screen. Like, I'm taking it.
And I'm with you guys too. I think South Korean cinema, just Korean cinema, South Korean cinema in general has just been. Some of my favorite films have come out of there, and they just have such a knack for drama and action and again, just the exploration of the human condition in all kinds of different ways, and just their ability to create compelling stories. You're right, Tom. I don't know what it is about the water in South Korea, but they have just been killing it in cinema. And so, yeah, this I think I'm going to replace Dumb Money with this one. I'm going with Concrete Utopia.
There you
Just
go.
hold me.
Nice. Marty, did you have any other thoughts on Concrete Utopia?
Just that I'm excited to see it.
Very cool. Plenty of showtimes. I think there's like 3-4 showtimes in the public and then 2 for press. So yeah, plenty of opportunity to see that one, which apparently we are very strongly recommending. So there is that. Derrick, let's do your last one.
Yeah, so my last pick is Dream Scenario. This one stars Nicolas Cage, and usually that's all you have to do to sell me. I am such a huge fan of Nick Cage. I just think, love him or hate him, you're always going to get 100%, no matter what. And, sure, he does a lot of really terrible films, but you never know what kind of Cage you're going to get. Are you going to get Pig, or are you going to get like Gone in 60 Seconds? Like which Nick Cage are you going to get? And I just cannot wait to see which one I'm going to get. And this idea of Nick Cage. So the premise is Nick Cage becomes famous because he starts appearing in everybody's dreams. And sold. Just give me this movie, feed it into my veins. I am so down for this. I don't care what it takes. I'm going to see this movie. I cannot wait for this one.
That's awesome. Can I pronounce this name right? This is the world premiere at TIFF, and it's directed by Christopher Borgley. It's in the platform program. It is also an A24 film. Derrick,
yeah.
You're just racking up those A24 films. Love it.
On brand, baby, on brand.
Love it. Yeah, no, this is the Nick Cage. Yeah, you make a very valid point. Nick Cage chooses very interesting projects, and sometimes you never know what kind of project it's going to be. I mean, I remember when Mandy came out and that was bonkers, but Pig is amazing. And there's so many facets to like Nick Cage and his acting. So you just never know. And I think that he's on a good streak right now. So who else, anyone else have Dream Scenario on their radar or have notes?
Top of my list. I love Nick Cage. The wackier he is, the better it is. And sounds wacky already. So I'm 1000% in.
Very cool. Aaron?
Not skipping this. This is not one I'll be able to fit in, but definitely will try to get a screener for some of the ones that I can't get to in person.
That is fair. No worries. Multiple showtimes here. Public Saturday, September 9th at 5:30, Sunday, September 10th at 3 p.m. Press get 2 opportunities, Sunday, September 10th at 8:30 a.m. and Wednesday, September 13th at 8:55 a.m. So I'm going to finish off this topic with the movie that has, so obviously we have our big high demand films like Anatomy of a Fall, Zone of Interest. Like we've mentioned some really great films. This one is a film that I haven't heard much about, but is just like the one film I have to see at the festival, and it's called Fingernails. The synopsis says starring Jesse Buckley, Riz Ahmed, and Jeremy Allen White. And I stopped there and am like sold. Like that cast is just everything I enjoy in cinema right now. Obviously, Jesse Buckley, the second movie that she's in here. Riz Ahmed, man, that guy, he chooses really great projects. And then of course Jeremy Allen White, who's just killing it on things like The Bear, and just super good actor. But this movie, so the rest of the synopsis says Greek director Christos Nikou, English debut weaves an allegory about our desire for certainty, reliance on technology, and the price we pay for losing the connection to our most primal instincts. So you have a technology component to it. You have, the kind of that human condition and how technology can kind of impact that and invade that. This is also the director who did Apples, and even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Apples, I certainly appreciated the style and the art of that film. So I'm very interested in seeing how that is being applied here with this cast. Fascinating premise. I don't know why, but this is just a film that that is like, with the exceptions of the high demand ones, this is the one that I haven't heard anything about, but is just top of my list for all of those reasons. So, anyone else have Fingernails on their radar?
Now I do. Love the cast. Yeah,
Right.
gotta find a time.
It's playing completely after I'm gone.
Completely. That's.
Unfortunately,
I was gonna.
I marked it down. There's a
Mhm.
couple of movies that are like that, and I was like really bummed to find that I couldn't even possibly squeeze them in because
Right.
I'll be there. But
Fingernails is a late festival film. I think its first screening is Tuesday, September 12th. So anyone who's there for that first weekend won't be able to, even the press screenings, that's not till Wednesday. So kind of unfortunate there, but hopefully it'll be found elsewhere after the festival. Derrick, any notes on Fingernails?
Yeah, this one is 100% in the top of my list. Easily top 10, probably close to top 5. I mean, I'm with you, man. That cast, those three, like you were speaking. I don't care what the movie is about. I just adore. I've already said I adore Jesse Buckley. I think Jeremy Allen White is just having a moment right now, and I agree. Riz Ahmed just, man, when that guy has a project he's passionate about, he is just incredible. I was just talking to somebody about the miniseries the night of, and he is just, I can't even express how good he is, and I don't think people really understand it because I think a lot of the general public has only seen him in things like Venom, and they're not an expression of what he can actually do. And I want this to be another vehicle for people to see, like, no, this guy, he deserves an Oscar. Like, you need to give this man an Oscar, whether it's for Fingernails or something else. Like, this man needs an award because he is so good. And then just pairing him with somebody like Jesse Buckley, like I don't care. And then you add the technology component, like this is a must see for me, 100%.
Yeah, everything about this movie. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to this one a lot. So all right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for your thoughts on these movies and for pointing these out. One of the things that's really great about these conversations is being able to bring to light some movies that maybe we hadn't had on our radar. And so I think this was a really great opportunity for that. And hopefully we have viewers who now have new movies to put on their radar, as if the lineup wasn't stacked enough with movies that we all want to see. There's always opportunity to like discover something new, and I think that's one of the greatest parts of film festivals. Derrick, where can people find you and your content?
Yeah, so you can find me at nerdbot.com. You can read all my reviews there. You can also find me online at DROK Comedy. That's DROK Comedy. That's both on Instagram and Twitter, as well as Threads. And then you can just find me on Facebook. Yes, I'm still old and still on there. So you can just find me. My profile is public. So just Derrick Murray. I'll probably be the first one that pops up. And I do quick reviews on there. And then you can check out all of my full reviews on nerdbot.com.
Sweet. Aaron, where can everyone find you and your content?
Find me personally at Aaron L. White, AARONELWHITE. That's my username for literally everything social media, PlayStation, you name it. I got lucky and have the same one everywhere. And then you can find my work at Feelin Film. That's FEELIN apostrophe film. There's a podcast. There's a YouTube channel. We have a website. I mean, we're everywhere. Been around for a while and do weekly new reviews that are spoiler free, and then do also a weekly long form episodic review with my best friend and longtime co-host, where we dive into something and talk about it in depth. So yeah, check us out. We'd love to have more people join in our conversations.
Very cool. Marty, where can people find you and your content?
Content obviously on ForReel.com. This is ForReel.com, and This is For Real on Twitter. Personally on Twitter, Marty at Marty_Milkman. I'm just out there vibing, talking films, talking trash sometimes. Just check me out. Check this space.
Love it. I love it. Like Marty, you can find my content at thisisforreal.com. For real, of course, spelled FORREEL. We're also on social media at This Is For Real on most places. I'll obviously add the links to all of these things. You can also find me personally at Being TSJ on pretty much any social media site, including TikTok and Threads. I guess I'm doing that.
Blue
I don't know.
Sky,
Blue Sky, like
I know
all of them. I don't know. Whatever.
I keep wanting to leave Twitter for some of these other ones, and I know it's a dumpster fire, and Threads is not the solution.
They're
No.
they're missing a moment in time, the opportunity. Somebody needs to seize it.
Somebody
I know.
let's come on, guys. Anyway, that's a podcast episode right there. But I also wanted to just shout out really quick that so I have my video series Real Buzz that is on its post-season hiatus right now, but I expect to jumpstart that again with TIFF, and so expect to see new episodes of that right after TIFF. So thank you guys again for joining me, and I look forward to having more conversations with you guys and to hanging out with all of you in Toronto. It's going to be great. So I know, right? For everyone out there watching, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, keep it for real.